What is going on, chat? Welcome back to the live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we jump onto the charts, before we do anything, let me make sure I can see you guys. You can see me. Yeah, this looks good. Before we hop onto the charts, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing you see or hear from me, here or anywhere else, is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Do your own research, make your own trading decisions, read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, including RDF, Top 1 Futures, Bookmap, and others. We are going to hop onto the charts, and we have special guest here, Randy Baines. I'm going to bring him in right now. What is going on, Randy? What's happening?
What's happening, Zach? Good to see you, buddy. I'm good.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, chat, what's going on? Welcome. Good morning. Ralph Wolf, what's happening? What's happening, guys? So let's see what we got going on the charts here, Randy. Interesting open right off the bat. I like to hop out to the daily real quick, take a look. Let's get the quick daily run rolling. Yeah, really strong bullish trend to the upside if we zoom way out. I like to just take the glance at the daily. This overnight low swept way below yesterday's and these two prior days earlier this week. So kind of an interesting sweep of lows and now pulling all the way back up above VWAP. Hop down to the 1 minute. Yeah, we continue that sell-off that we had into the close yesterday. Stayed below VWAP, retested it a handful of times, put the overnight low in here, and have started to bounce back up, opening up above VWAP, back up above prior day low, yesterday's low for this Thursday open. Kind of interesting here. Randy, you on these new straight to funded pro accounts? This 7
Yes,
pack?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm trading seven of those. So yesterday was my first day. I managed all seven, and then on top of that, I got 250K, the original straight to fundeds that I managed at the same time. So I had a really good day managing those end of day trailing drawdown accounts, like how I did the trailing drawdown. I took profits a little bit more aggressively, and it was good. So.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know that hopped on chat, we have over $1 million in sim capital being copy traded here today on my screen. There's a 7-pack of the new straight to funded sim pro. I have to try to read it so I don't mess it up. Accounts from Top 1 Futures. These, while they're cheaper and have some benefits like your ability to copy trade 7, a couple of other things, wider max loss limit, they are harder on the rule set when it comes to intraday trailing drawdown and equity stability score. So these are going to be interesting to trade. I'm a couple days into trading them, green so far, but I'm trying to do the same thing, Randy. Just really aggressively trail stop into profit, especially on these. I've been kind of doing that anyway, but these are going to be tricky. These are definitely going to be tricky to work with.
No, I agree. I think it's like I said, Tuesday I had to wrap my head around it, and I thought I did, and then I came into yesterday's trading morning, and again, my first had a little slip up, a little paper cut, and then I got my head back on straight and managed the next trade beautifully, and then I decided to be one and done for the day. So
nice. Yeah, that's kind of my play with these. Because whether you realize the profit or not, if you start to come back down on yourself in the day, I think it could be difficult. So I still got my 3-pack of the originals. I got these 7 that I'm going to be having fun with trading live, and just going to put the trades on, let them play out, manage the trades the way that I see fit, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. I'm not super confident it's going to go well, but it's going to be a nice learning experience, right? First time that I've traded anything with an intraday trailing drawdown like this, so it's definitely going to be interesting.
Well, I'm just trying to look at it like the way I'm going to manage them, at least in the short term until I get my head wrapped around it more, is I got $2,000 of drawdown. If I can end the day with $2,000 of drawdown and end the day with a small green, I'm good.
Yep.
As long as I'm not chipping away in that drawdown, and if it takes me a little bit longer than I would expect myself in, say, an end of day drawdown account to get to a profit target, I'm fine with that. Obviously, copy trading 7, you got to remind yourself the payout's a lot bigger across 7 accounts. So just slow it down. You don't need to pass this thing in whatever your time is a month or whatever you think you need to pass a standard account in. So
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a really good point. Like the way that I've seen traders utilize copy trading outside of just the ability to like make a whole bunch more money, right, and leverage it. If you slow yourself way down, you risk less per trade, per account, and you just let the copy trading kind of do the heavy lifting for you. You can really use that to your advantage, right? Like for example, so this 7 pack of 150Ks, the max payout from each one is $3,500. It's almost $25,000, right? Like if you can work really slowly towards that payout, like taking weeks, couple months, whatever it is, I think it's pretty solid. Different than you would trade just a single 50K maybe or a small account. Um, this is interesting market wise, man. We're talking accounts. So opened up above VWAP. Looks like buyers want to try to drive this thing higher, man. What are you? How are you reading this morning, Randy?
We just had a strong turn there, like a really strong turn. Just looking at watching the CVD, it was, it's jumped now. Again, I don't like we're below like previous day's value area low. So
Mm-hmm.
that move down last night put us in not uncharted territory, but it's now in somewhat of a healthy pullback.
Yep.
And then, like you said, sweeping those lows that was previous days, and then even previous into the earlier in the week into Tuesday and Monday. So
Yeah.
it's
This. I'm looking at the same. This looks strong, man. Right out of the gate, this looks strong. I don't like to jump in. I think similar to you right off the bat. I don't think you're a first 5-10 minute trader either of the open. Yeah, so I like to give it 15 minutes at least is my real game plan to open up. If I see something really clean in the first 10, maybe. But yeah, sweeping yesterday's low, sweeping all the lows looking left, kind of bottoming out here, opening up above VWAP. We had a little retest, and now we got buyers trying to take it higher. This thing looks like it could start to run. To your point, cumulative volume delta starting to grow really nicely as we're drifting higher. I think that could support the move to the upside. If I'm looking on the book, we do have orders all the way up at the 25s. Not all the way up, not too far off of price right now, 10 points. 25s and 30s back up around this overnight high level. I could see us potentially going to grab those. Down below, we got 270 at 59.90, right above this, right above these lows that we put in through London and pre-market. So I could see potentially sellers wanting to drag it down there, grab those. But for right now, this is looking really strong. The way that I trade this open or near the open is kind of a reversion to VWAP, back to VWAP, mean reversion, counter to the initial movement, whatever the heck we want to call it. So I'm watching this for a potential short play. Um, we had this return to VWAP here, which I don't love if I'm going to take it, but I could see getting short if we really aggressively start to pop to the upside. I'd really wait on it, maybe the 25s to 30s, and run my 10-point stop that I've been working with. And if we just continue to blast to the upside, we come right through the 40s and start heading north. I think I'm dead wrong. This could turn into a really large bullish movement. But I think we might come down, take everybody out one more time. And if I can get in on that, I'd like it.
I
We'll
like
see what
that.
happens here
I like that read. I got previous day's value area low and the start of week VWAP at 60.25.
at 60.25.
So I could
Nice.
see price taking those 25s and rejecting from there. And then even then, if there's another leg higher, you got previous day's New York VWAP at 60.30. So those orders at 25 and 30 are lining up with three levels I have on the chart.
Nice.
So I've been
Nice.
trying to look at bookmap now and seeing where the orders are sitting, like if that's lining up with a VWAP or a volume profile, and then just trying to hone in on that area now and what's going to happen, and just keeping that in mind. Because looking at this, you don't see the shorts necessarily, but when you actually walk through and explained it like you did, I can see it very, very clearly now with the levels where they're at.
Yep. Yep. And again, I'm really trading this just different styles. Someone might say, no, this is bullish. I'm getting ready to jump in here as we break the high, stop below the lows. I want to trade this trend. I'm looking at, more as like off a level for that nice immediate rejection. Give me a way to structure risk. And even if I'm wrong overall in the day and we're going to continue to the upside, I potentially have the chance to grab a couple points back down around VWAP, back down around a temporary volume point of control area. We've consolidated quite a bit down here. This is interesting though. This is kind of interesting. No news. No news for the rest of the day. We got through some news this morning. I think we have red folder tomorrow. I wanted to look at that. Yeah, we got 10 a.m. prelim consumer sentiment and inflation expectations tomorrow, but nothing else. Natural gas storage 10:30 a.m. today. That's pretty low impact. And then 30-year bond auction. That one's usually maybe a little bit of something. That's 1:01 p.m. So we'll definitely be done by then.
I noticed you get a little bit of juice on the bond auctions.
Yeah, that's one of those that's a low impact, like yellow folder, whatever we want to call it. That does seem to move the market a little bit. So watching this one come up, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on the 25s. Again, counter to the initial movement, right? Counter to what we're kind of seeing here. Definitely not counter to what we had. If I scroll out a little bit, right, I can make a case for this moving to the downside right here. But just a simple off a level trade. There's quite a bit of volume traded up here as well. Stop above overnight high. Maybe we have to sweep that. The 30s have like 180 on the book right now, 60-30. So that could be a little dicey. It's not completely thin above that level, but I could see a pop up there, grab those, and then a continuation lower. But maybe we don't want to break the 20s here. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, see, I think if we get a pullback here to the New York VWAP, I could almost look to get long.
Yep. Where's that New York VWAP sitting for you?
60-15.
Nice. Yeah, we've kind of been seeing this the last couple days where I don't know if you could see it as well. There's like 550, 575 getting moved around. Like it was just above price for maybe not even a minute there, sell side, and now it's pulled. It's not going to get filled.
Yeah, I noticed lots of, call it spoofing, call it whatever you want, but even on, you use Trader Map Lite for your book map?
I don't. I just run it original. I run the.
Oh, so then you're used to the algos.
Yeah.
Because the algos have even infiltrated that Trader Map Lite now. So
have they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it. Like a couple. Austin pointed it out. He was like, "What are you doing with the not running the Trader Map?" But as he so often does, he hopped in my stream yesterday. By the way, it was funny. It should have gotten long. I was sitting in short. But I just got comfortable with looking at the algos and kind of watching that stuff move around. But what we just saw, I saw the last couple of days, and it can be difficult. It can start to just make it difficult to read. Yeah, this looks like we don't want to break the 20s, man. Coming right back down on it. Look at that. This is interesting. But yeah, I try to just look at it in the simple dumb guy way that I do, pattern recognition. Where's the big levels of liquidity sitting? We're likely going to go and grab some of those potentially. If we get there, we might see some additional volatility. So kind of just additional areas of interest on my chart, lining up with levels of structure, volume areas, the basic stuff. But I've been starting to watch cumulative volume delta a little bit more. Again, I've been on bookmap for a while now, and I've had that sitting there the entire time down on the bottom, but I'm starting to watch it a little bit more now. And I got to say, it does line up with movements when you go, especially if you go back and look, because I'll run like bookmap all day, and then I'll kind of come back through and look. And if we're climbing on a declining cumulative volume delta, we traditionally don't just continue to blast out and trend. Usually that kind of peters and we pull back, and same thing to the downside. And conversely, if we have a really heavy cumulative volume delta, like positive, for example, buyers way outweighing sellers by way of volume, and that continues as we're pushing the upside, like it supports it. It really does support it. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's exactly what you said. That's how I watch it. I look at it now for follow through.
Yeah.
So when you get big spikes and then I see follow through, I look for continuation. If I don't see the follow through on a big spike on the CVD, it's like either an iceberg, they got absorbed. My bookmap, my 1 year subscription actually ends this month, and I'm gonna upgrade to iceberg, the Global Plus.
Yep.
Because I've been talking to a few other traders that look at the icebergs as just levels to enter and exit a trade. And it's really helping them with their trade management.
Nice.
So I'm really curious to see. Like I spent a whole year of just understanding basic bookmap. So now I think I graduated to be able to learn something new this year or this upcoming year with it. So
Nice. Yeah, it's I know it's an add-on. It's I do have the Global Plus. I don't run it, so I'll probably have to just throw it on my chart and take a look at it. I think it's another pretty simple one, but yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that can be helpful. Again, I try to be cautious with how much I take. That's what I was about to say. With how much I take into account in my trading decisions, because we can add these things in, and I think they're valuable. I think they're useful. But if I add too much in or continue to try to add, I just overdo it. I end up, having too much information to process. You end up with that conflicting signals type of deal. But I really do like Bookmap. I think it's pretty clean information. It's kind of an add-on to me watching price action, market structure, volume, the basic stuff that I use. And it doesn't seem to detract from that too much. So here we go. I'm watching this pop the 20s again. So I'm still eyeballing a short. This is not a bad setup near the open for me. I've kind of been sitting on my hands at a lot of these New York sessions, just chopping at VWAP, and I'm like, all right, nothing doing. But I'm watching this. If we continue to pop to the upside, I could see it really aggressively short from up there, and from here, if we turn and start to sell off, like we get a wick above, maybe we really don't go grab my level and we really aggressively start to sell off, I could see it short from up here right back down into VWAP. That's not going to be too bad of a play. Still kind of near the open here. Yeah, 10 points or so below this overnight high.
I was actually looking to see if Austin was short yet, because I could see him. You two have the.
There we go. We're gonna get the call out. We're gonna get the call out from him. Yeah. So I go ahead.
No, I got a rule where I just can't fight the New York VWAP. That's just that's
Gotcha.
me as learning like new trader, kind of like I'm not quite comfortable. Every time I do, I get burned. So
for sure. Well, no, you got to find the stuff that works well for you. Creating maybe some guardrails, right, to like keep you in line. And just like you said, every time I do, I get burned, right? So you kind of just, I think the simple way to think about trading is you do some stuff, right? You track what you're doing, and then you find out what's working, and then you do a little bit more of that. You find out what's not working, you do a little bit less of that. If you find every time you're, long against the New York or short against the New York VWAP and you get smoked, maybe, you don't keep doing that, right? That kind of basic like improvement, that feedback loop.
yeah, no, 100%.
Yep.
Let's see what happens here. Your 25s.
Yeah, man, got 24 and a half here. We tried to come up into it. So here's how I read Bookmap, right? Like I'm looking at this level. Oh, gonna be close, man. We didn't fill. There's 139 on the book right here. So, my guardrail, like my rules, right? If I'm gonna enter really aggressively short on something, as we're pushing up, as we're above VWAP, like I really want my level to be hit. Like, or just actually be hit. I want it to reach the price point that I'm waiting for. If I'm going to enter very aggressively, like as we're pushing the upside, yeah, it's still 140 on the book, but this looks like the turn. This looks like the turn right here. Going to wait for it. I'm watching people get involved back and forth right on top of price, which is kind of interesting to see. But we got it growing all the way up here to the 30s. 206 on the book up here. So this is going to be interesting. Now we sell off from right here, unless I want to jump in short right here, quick stop loss, right back down to VWAP. We come all the way back down through VWAP. I'm missing it, but I gotta wait. I gotta wait for it. We dump from here. It's not a missed trade, right? Yesterday I did hesitate, and I talked about it in chat, and it's actually right where Austin, later on jumped in and went, oh, you should have got long as we broke VWAP, 47s or whatever. And I was like, yeah, definitely. That was something that I was just, sleeping on. This.
So would you trade it back down to 6,008?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
when you say VWAP, you're looking at daily start of day VWAP.
Yes. This session VWAP.
Yeah.
Yep, session VWAP. Yeah. And again, the way that I would run this is just fixed stop loss, like really, really wide take profit that I'm really not waiting to be hit, dragging stop loss into profit. But it's it's off of a level back down towards VWAP mean, area of high volume. Here we go. I'm going to try it again. Let's see. So here's my play up here. As I'm as I'm saying it, I got to wait to see what happens, right? I think we could get a really aggressive jump because we're lifting these orders. QB and volume delta does not look that weak. I'm seeing like 5,000 from before 9:30. There we go. Do I want to jump in front of it right here?
I actually took a long in one of my 150K accounts.
There we go. We're going to fade each other again, Randy. Let's do it. Let's do it.
You're going to try and get to 30.
we were opposite positions last time around.
Order filled.
Yeah, I'm going to run this one. I'm going to run this one short. It's aggressive. Good. Someone's going to make money, hopefully, as long as we manage it well. I'm going to run this one short. I was waiting on the 25s to get filled. Pushed to the upside. I'm going to look at this as a reversion, potentially back down towards like the 13s, maybe VWAP. But this is pretty strong. We're continuing to lift orders to the upside. We do have it to the 30s, 35s. I got room to go allow for these 30s to be hit and maybe get a rejection around overnight high with a 10-point stop. But we're going to have to see how this one plays.
Yeah, we're right at previous stage value area low in that start of week VWAP. So interesting. We get above it. I think we got a good play here. It maybe gotten a little bit too premature, but I like the short almost better now looking at this. So
no, I love it, man. This was the same thing last time, and we both came out green, which was pretty cool to see. Same thing we were talking about Tampa, where you just got to stick to your approach, right? Stick to your system. Like I'll take the L when I have to take the L right here. I'll enter aggressively. I can't tell what trade's going to be a winner or a loser. I have no idea, right? I can just stick to my approach, do the same thing or something similar day in and day out, track the results, try to do a little bit more of what's working, a little bit less of what's not, and and go from there. But that's all we can do, man. Put the trades on, let them play out. That's
for sure.
That's it. But chat, what do you think? I can't figure this one out, guys. I know my voice is sounding low. I don't know why. I changed a couple settings, but I'll have to just talk really closely into the mic like this.
You sound good. You sound good on my end.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have seen it in the past YouTube videos. But guys, what's up? Seb, George, Randy's in here, guys. Follow Randy. You got his name up on the banner. There we go. Randy on the banner there. He is across socials. You can check him out. He's doing trade recaps on YouTube. He is on Instagram. He's sharing his story, which is awesome. Ralph, what's up? Wolf, what's up? AD. Scott, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Getting a little sell-off as I'm not paying attention. All right, so mechanical way that I'm managing these, that's not really enough to move it. I'm getting ready to drag into profit here if we can continue down a bit lower. I like my entry. Gotta say, I can't complain about that entry. Let's see, showing me $350 worth of profit. Again, I'm in these. There we go. Now I'm dragging down aggressively, guys. Stop to $400 in profit, 475, 525. Dragging tightly behind this one. Beautiful, beautiful. Dragging really tightly.
Order filled.
There we go.
Nice.
I'm out. I'm
nice
out on
work.
that one, guys. There
right at the New York VWAP. Beautiful.
There we go. Is that where New York VWAP is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right
there we go.
New York VWAP, like beautiful.
Yeah, so here's my play. You still long on this one, Randy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Hang on to it. There you go. Because we might bounce here, right? So chat, we got a quick W. W's in the chat again. We're running. I'm on a little bit of a win streak with these new accounts. I'm definitely going to take the full L coming up soon. I'm entering aggressively, so I never try to say that I have it all figured out. I certainly do not. Not in these accounts. We're going to watch that live. But that's green, almost $600 across all 7 of these. The beauty of copy trading is, let's do the math. It's really funny to do because I haven't copy traded this many accounts at all either. That's $4,160 in about a couple minutes here. Really, really funny, man. But yeah, so just to talk through that one, since we got a handful of people on, guys, to talk through this one really quick, was watching the 60-25. That one played out really nicely for me, honestly. Did not have to take a lot of heat. They definitely do not always work that way. Yesterday's, I was sitting for 45 minutes in a short before we finally started to sell off. But was waiting for this level to get hit. We had quite a bit of orders sitting up here. They were on the book for a while. It was getting thicker. We had orders coming up to 30s, which is why waiting till it gets up here and getting a stop loss outside of that area for me made sense. But entry right there, really aggressively. We filled 25s, and I took it as we just started to kind of reject there a little bit. Nice impulsive move to the downside, and here we go, bouncing right back up on it. So the way that I'm managing these is it's either going to be a full stop out, partial profit, or larger profit. But I'm waiting for them to move in. And this is Randy. I know you saw Isaac in Tampa. This is really taking a lot of juice from the way that he manages his trades on ES as a top trader. But waiting for a specific level to get hit, dragging into profit, and then the only thing really that I'm doing differently on these accounts is if it starts dumping like that, I want to be real cautious to not let it like wick down and then come right back up on me, because that drawdown is going to trail super, super quickly. So dragging into profit and then aggressively trailing behind it, that type of deal. So yeah, it's worked out so far decently. The full stop outs for the $500,000 are definitely coming, but no complaints on that one so far.
How many contracts did you go in there? 10?
That's two minis. So
I'm on, two minis.
Yeah,
two minis in the 50K. Wow, I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been back on the mini chart. Not to sound like too much of a degenerate, but yeah, I'm on the 150Ks. I am trading these fairly aggressively, right? So I'm gonna work towards a payout or losing them, which I've done so far. A little bit quicker, just being a little bit more aggressive this way. With these accounts, if I take a full $1,000 loss with these ones specifically, I'm done. That's probably going to be it for me. Yesterday, I went in with one. If I take one $500 loss, I have a second trade. In the standard ones that don't have this intraday trailing, I'd be even a little bit more aggressive. Going to allow myself like $2,000 probably to a personal DLL, and just allow the upside to be a little bit wider. But yeah, it's just all up to the individual. Like I don't get that many trade setups, and I like to just wait patiently. And in the past, I've put on like very light risk trades, and I just won't make too much progress either way. And I just don't have enough volume of trading to really either make it to a payout or make it to losing the account.
Yeah,
so, no. That's kind of where I'm at with it, but just personal. So let's see, chat. What do we got? Nice trade. Neo, what's up? Rich Boy Trades, W. Yeah, we got W's rolling here.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm long in my 50Ks too now. So,
Randy, you're still long.
I'm long across the board. I entered in on my 50Ks now. So
nice. Randy's getting long. Chat. We're gonna see. He's are we talking across like 10 accounts, Randy?
No, 9 accounts.
9 accounts. Okay. Yeah, so. only one short. So Randy's in heavy long, guys. We're gonna see if this one plays. That was short off my level. I'm not mad about that trade management. If we had come all the way back up, another 6 points, $600, I'd be sweating a little bit back here near my entry. I think this could hold up here and start to blast off for you, Randy. This doesn't look bad, right? We're still holding structure. Are you a stop loss like below session VWAP, below like the 10s, or are you
I have a really tight stop loss in the 50Ks. I'm actually below. I got a VWAP on the news pin, which is technically like a low, session low, you can call that, and that's 3 points below the New York. So I'll cut this soon. If we cut those two VWAPs, I'm looking for it to take the bottom of the opening range or take that started day VWAP, and I don't need to take all that heat, because then I could just be making a higher low in the process, right? So.
Nice. So what Randy's talking about here, chat, is he runs, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Randy, he's going to run an anchored VWAP to this 830 news pin.
Yeah.
Talking about that? Yep.
Yeah.
And so that'll give you a nice solid anchor point to maybe an important candle, important data event, something in time, rather than just the entire, session from session changeover on a VWAP. I was a big fan of anchored VWAPs and I still am. I just have too much on my chart, so I have to try to clean it up at a certain point. But I like it from like 9:30 a.m. also, and prior day NYSE session VWAP. That can give you a nice volume weighted average price. Here we go, pushing back up to the upside for you, man. Let's see it, ES. Let's see the run for Randy. But yeah, no, I like the anchored VWAP. So, but chat, if anyone wants to check that out, that's what we're talking about here. It is the same calculation. You are just anchoring it to a specific point. Doesn't matter where you put it above or below price, but you drag it to a specific spot in time, and it's going to give you a VWAP, a volume-weighted average price from that point, right? So that can be helpful for, if you're on high time frames, big swing highs and lows to take a look at, let you know who's in control, buyers or sellers.
Well, you just think how many people got in at that level, right? How many people bought it at that discount or tried selling it at that extreme, right?
Yep.
And when they're above or below that line, they're going to be underwater, whatever side you're looking at it. So it's like,
there you go.
If you're an institution and you got in there, what are you going to do when you get underwater? You're just going to sell your position. You're not going to hold on to it. You'll just take a little haircut on it or whatever it is and be like, I'm out, and move along. So you get to really pay attention to that. And I look at that along with the New York VWAP, and it's something we've been refining as a group. We trade the VWAP obviously with Austin with ASFX. So it's, as a group, we've just slowly incorporated more VWAPs, understood it, looked at it, back tested it, we do a lot of more forward testing than back testing, if anything.
Yep. No, it's awesome. Again, I liked it when I was really focused in on, a little bit more directional with ES and taking trades like right off of VWAPs and letting them work as this dynamic support and resistance. I've adjusted just a little bit, and I find this style fits me just a little bit more. But again, it's not for any reason that I don't like them, I don't trust them, I don't think that they're great. It's just I know for me personally, I have to condense what's on my chart, and I've even done so a little bit with the volume profile levels that I was using, because like everybody else, I'm always inclined to kind of get more information, see what's going on, and I want to always add and have more and more and more. And eventually I get to a point where I'm like, here we go. I'm doing it again. I'm starting to, kind of overlay a little bit too much on my chart. So I back off, I clean it all up, because I do like areas of interest, right? Horizontal levels. I always get made fun of for saying that, but horizontal levels, just basic areas of interest, and then price action, market structure, volume. And since being in the futures market, which really hasn't been that long, a little over a year now, I really like order flow. I really do like looking at bookmap for these additional levels. And again, like I think I'm not gonna be right on this absolutely selling off for the day. I want to see this rip long, but just like I said, I think we can see rejections, reactions, at least some movement around key levels on a chart, and it gives me a way to structure risk where I'm not trying to predict it's going to go up or down right here, but I think we're going to see some reaction. And if I'm dead wrong and we blast my face off to the upside, okay, I'm dead wrong. If I'm right, I'm on the right side of that today, it gives me a nice way to structure risk, right? Maybe it gives me a way to drag stop loss, or at least tell myself, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm really wrong.
No, I agree. And NQ is looking a little weaker. It's trading below its New York VWAP, so I need NQ to get back above it, and hopefully we don't form. I don't know if you know Zach Arbucci, but he trades some ICT concepts. But these SMT divergences, when you see them on the two indices, I try not to let it get in my head, but now that I know about it, if I see it, I got to think about it. I don't have it on the chart, but it's just something that visually, if you know about it, you can just see it, right? Like you don't need
just
a level or an indicator. I can just know that. So now is ES going to be making a higher low here? Or sorry, a lower high.
So essentially, let's chat what's going on. Chat's getting long with you. Seb's long. Aaron long.
Yeah, Seb, my boy.
what's going on?
Like it.
Guys, sorry, go ahead, Randy.
No. I said, could ES be making a lower high now? So
yeah, we're going to see. So I was going to ask you, so when you guys are talking about that, the way that I've understood it is essentially you're kind of just watching correlation between two assets, right? Maybe NQ and ES. And if they start to turn and ES puts in like doesn't break a high and versus NQ breaking a high, that's kind of what we're looking at here, side by side.
Yeah, but it's actually, if you look on the 15-minute, it looks like ES could close forming a higher high and NQ a lower high, so you'd have a divergence, but it would mean NQ is the weaker of the indices, and that could turn over and spill. But I never see it work out that way. I just because I'm only trading ES, so I'm worried about ES now turning because I'm long. So it's just a mental thing. It's in my head, but if NQ can take its New York VWAP, I'll be happy because it just lets us know that buyers are stepping in on both markets, and ES and NQ move very similarly. Here we go, baby. Come on.
There we go. Very nice. Very nice.
These 30s.
That looks like you got to take profit somewhere up here, Randy.
30.
30. Right at 30.
Bam. There you go,
There it
baby.
is.
There you go.
There it is.
1, 2, 9. Oh, my last one is not closed yet. Hold on. I manually closed it because I'm not going to play any games. So all
No.
9 accounts, I'm up long.
Very
Beauty.
nice. Very nice.
There you go. Again, Zach, there's something about you and I. We always got to fade each other. I'm telling you. We always got to fade each other.
Listen, man, I know. You know what I really like, Randy? I think we both in that situation calmly took our opposing positions, right? Because that's what our strategies call for. So there it is, chat, again, man. Randy got long when I was getting short. I got short off the 25s, right around the 25s. He got long off the 25s. Just a different play, a different approach. And here he is grabbing his, or a little bit lower. We were 24 or something like that. Here he is grabbing his profit up here. I was grabbing my profit down here. There's not one way to do this, man. And it's just so cool to see different styles, but also just confidently taking whatever your setup is, right? We don't know what's going to happen, and that it could not go that way next time. It could dump in one direction, but well done, dude. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
No, I'm stoked because even on that pullback, when you made your money short, I decided to get long in the other accounts.
Mm-hmm.
In the 7 accounts, I felt now I can have a better stop. It's a higher probability trade for me here. So let's get in on these 7 accounts, and then I got in on the other 150K account. So I'm all in on 9 accounts. 8 of the 9 have a beautiful entry. The first one was a little bit high, but I wanted to be honest. I wanted to take a trade on stream.
Yeah,
I do enjoy this. That's why I picked one of the accounts I can afford to take a little bit more risk in. And it's awesome, man. I'm stoked.
2 W's again, man.
You can't wipe the smile off this face, right? So you can just tell, it's good. It's good. I feel great. That's awesome.
For sure, guys. Make sure you follow Randy. His Instagram, YouTube, X is sitting up on the screen. It's the second time he's been on stream with me here, where we both took opposing positions on the same contract. We're both trading ES. We just got a little bit different styles and the way that we're trading these, and both times came out green. I even said someone's going to make money, anticipating that, we get a directional move. And but no, it just, again, like we saw this in Tampa. And guys, for you guys that don't know, we were both in Tampa at the ASFX, in-person deal. And what we had going on the first day was a really just interesting, display of that there's not one right or wrong way to trade or one right or wrong way to manage risk. And that's what I try to talk about on here with you guys. We had there was 5 or 6 guys trading live and then a bunch of people that were just there. And almost everybody was entering at different positions, managing their trades differently, right? Not saying there's one right or wrong way to do this and this is how you trade and this is how to do it. And almost everybody that first day came out green. It was wild. So if you take nothing else, and this can kind of be abstract, you could be like, I hop on a stream to learn how to trade, to figure out exactly what to do in the market. There's no one, in my humble opinion, there's no one direct right or wrong way to do this. Trading is as much of an art as it is a science. And I think it comes down to finding what works really well for you personally. The way that you read the market, your natural bias, the natural ways that you think about the market, and then custom tailoring an approach to that. I think you can watch other people trade. You can take a lot from everybody else. I've done that myself. Nothing here is anything new. This is basic stuff, and I am using a lot of other, better traders than me, styles and ways. But I add my own spin. I build confidence around the way that I trade. I understand it my way, and I stick to that. I trade it day in and day out. And Randy just did that as well here, but in a complete opposite direction of me, and we came out green, So I would really encourage you to not view this thing as there's a one-size-fits-all, there's a holy grail out there. Find stuff that works well for you personally through testing, build confidence in it, back test, forward test with low risk on the line, and don't be fearful when you see anybody else doing anything. Not that me or Randy here have it all figured out. I'll speak for myself and say I certainly do not. But even when you see top traders that are really crushing it, just remember that they're sticking to their system. They're just doing what works for them, and you have to find what works for you personally. So that's my rant for today.
No, it's. I think you nailed it. And I think you just be content. Whichever strategy you choose. I made $116 on those 7 accounts, each of them. For me, that's what I need to take out of the market. And, I have my $2,000 of drawdown still. I'm up $100, $120 in each account. And then my other ones, I'm up 500 in each. So it's
Beautiful.
before I never even used to set a TP. I'd be like, oh, it's going to hit this level on bookmap way up here in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to make $1 million. And every time I'd get roasted. And today I set 3 TPs, and only the last one was a quarter point higher than the rest. And I closed it manually, but it's like, I'm out of the trade. I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm done.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. No, I agree with that, man. That's a huge piece of it, right? Being content, right? Being grateful for what the market gives you, not trying to shoot for a home run on every damn trade. Get in, get out. I think Austin and his team, your guys, the Black Shirt Club does a good job of that. Changing the narrative behind this, like you need a crazy big risk to reward to like make money in the market, and you don't. I don't think you do. If that works for you, great, and you want to run a low win rate risk to reward, more power to you. Run your system. Plenty of people that do that, but I think a lot of new traders are constantly swayed and have this ego that you have to make so much money when you're right and lose so little amount when you're wrong, and also have a high win rate. Break down some of those barriers, find what works for you, enter and exit at levels that make sense. And, especially in these markets, right? Traders, I think it's a little bit overused, but guys will say it's a see profit, take profit type of market. A lot of it is happening in these markets where we have headline news. We are exposing ourselves every time we're into anybody commenting tariff or China or anything, and we get wild volatility that even if you're right, you stand the risk of getting a stop run. So if you're in profit, you're at a good level, it makes sense, or you're running your fixed risk to reward, whatever it is. Just be grateful, right? Market's going to keep moving. It's always going to do whatever it's going to do. Job isn't to capture the whole move. It's to capture a small piece of it, consistently. So I'm behind that for sure.
I would have been stuck in this trade for another 5 minutes of this little chop, and then we get this move here, and I would have closed it probably at the previous day's New York VWAP at 31 for another point. For what? Like, this thing could have easily just rejected previous day's New York VWAP and stopped me out at break even, lose my drawdown. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
And then it takes your confidence takes a hit, and you don't realize that when your confidence takes a hit, it affects your trading the next day.
100%, and I think that's hang on, I'm reading the chat. Let me see if I can turn this off. What's up, guys? Need to know what's enough for you. That's a good question. Get rich quick. Low volume wouldn't mind me. Okay, I'm gonna try to make sure that I don't have ads running on this. I could care less about monetization on this stuff, but I will turn those off for you, Mr. Rick. I'm tempting to. I'll have to keep hitting that button. But yeah, no, I think, to this conversation, just like you said there, if you run, so just inherently, guys, if you run a high risk to reward, you're likely going to have a lower win rate. And the opposite is true if you have a, more modest or lower risk to reward where you're taking profit quicker. It's going to be easier to run that win rate up. And practically speaking, and when it comes down to do calculations with expectancy, you might think that a high risk to reward, low win rate will provide bigger gains. But when it comes time to actually execute and play that out, allow it to play out over a large sample size, it can be very difficult to do. And to what Randy's talking about, being able to just take your quick wins, stack your confidence up, go on win streaks, and just really build confidence in what you're doing in the markets. I think it's powerful. I think it's really powerful.
Base hits are so powerful, and it took me a year of trading every day in the Black Shirt Club, where it's just like you see the guys come in like me originally and just want to go heavy and do this and this and this and change this, and you watch the guys that just base hits. The guy that just took 100, we have a guy in our group that made $107,000 yesterday, and it's just on base hits. But it's copy trading a shit ton of accounts, 57 accounts to be, which is crazy. But base hits, he trades 1 to 2 mini, and he looks for 2 points out of a trade, 3 points, and he's good. So it just goes to show you base hits, and then you just slowly build that confidence, and you have the confidence to scale. And before you know it, if that's your goal to scale and copy trade, then
you're making big money. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think it comes down to find what works best for you. But I think definitely most people would agree when you come to trading, what you hear is the high risk to reward thing. You need to make 2 times what you make when you're right versus when you lose, or 3 times, and that's how you're profitable. That doesn't really give you anything. That's just going to give you a low win rate, right? You still have to turn a profit past that break-even win rate. So I would encourage guys and girls that are on here, or whatever it is, find what works best for you, but you don't have to play by any rules that, wow, we're really pushing on this bad boy. 37's 36.
Oh, it's taken every level. You've taken all the VWAPs, you've taken the previous day value area low. Like, I think the next stop here is going to be 48, and that's previous day's point of control. And if we plow through that, it's the sky's the limit.
Yep. I'm looking at this on bookmap. I know we're having good conversation talking trading, but watching this market, guys, this looks very strong. Obviously, we're breaking overnight high. I think we could still get a rejection somewhere up here around this area now that we took the 35s, but we have continual orders being taken to the upside. There's another 282, 283 at 60.40. There's liquidity at 45, now at 50. I think looking at the 15-minute, this could be a spot for a pretty gnarly rejection, and if we're not going to turn this into a big bullish day, I don't think this is a terrible spot for a short, not being countered, not wanting to be countered at every move. I'm not looking at it just yet from up here. This is a really strong push. I took it down here, got paid. Don't know that I'm ready to jump in front of this one again. If we continue this, if we don't pull back, we don't reject. If we continue this, I think we really could start to push, turn this into a pretty serious bullish day, right? And if we look at the daily, just zoomed way out, that would look nice, right? That would look really nice. It'd be a sweep below all of these lows, a test of this level that we had down here. I had a zone here that was a pretty nice test. Multiple highs of daily candles, right? Pull all the way back down, conduct business here, and then blast the hell off. I think this could be really clean to the upside, so I'm not going to dive in front of this one again. On another day. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fat finger it. On another day, maybe from way up here, even on a big bullish move like that, I could see trying it. Sweep of overnight high for a move back down to VWAP, but this is really strong out of the gate now. Sellers have tried to take it lower a couple times, haven't done that, so I'm not going to dive in front of this. And as far as a way in long at this point, I think the opportunity was way down here where you took it, Randy. So beautiful, nice execution, man. Rode it up to the 30s. You don't have to try to catch the insane move, right? You're not going to throw a stop, take profit 100 points out of the way, get paid, and let the market.
I used to do that all day long. And it would turn around on me and I'd get a donut. And, in the beginning, it wasn't even a donut. I'd just move my stop and hope for, when you say that joke, we say like hope is like dope, like you're smoking crack, or like hope that it's going to turn around. And I would just take these massive losses and blow accounts. And
yeah,
you got to touch the fire, right? You got to burn your hand. That's the only way you're going to learn.
For sure. And again, I think, if that's your style, if that's the way that you want to trade, you're kind of that home run hitter and you're always going stop to break even and just letting it run to the moon, it can work, but it's just it's definitely not for me personally. I think it's just tough to do. Even if I would go for those larger movements, I was always a wider stop loss, really wide stop loss, let the thing move a lot. So it was never this huge, massive risk to reward move anyway.
But we had a profitable trader in the group, and he had a 13% win rate.
Wow.
But his winning trades were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 R. And then he would have 100 losing trades, paper cuts, paper cut, and then it would hit. And it worked for him, but for me, I don't have the mental capacity to do that, because it's again, those hits on your confidence. Yeah. Especially when you're learning, eventually you're going to be like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah, dude. So, I think it takes extreme confidence to trade that, right? Because you have to stick to such strict risk management and wait through all of those losses. Like I had a guy in my community, similar deal. I can't remember if he was risking, I think he was risking $100 per trade in NQ. And he would stop himself at 5 losses, and he would share the P&L, because he actually made money, made it to like big payouts, but it would be 5 losses on Monday, 5 losses on Tuesday, 5 losses on Wednesday, and then Thursday would be like, you know, a $3,000, $3,500
Yeah.
win, because he would essentially just do the same thing, just lots of paper cuts, finally catch it, and then he would kind of just trail to the moon. He would let the thing run for forever. And again, like it can be a very profitable, lucrative way to trade, but you got to ask yourself, like, can you handle that P&L? Can you handle that? Come to the market for 5 days in a, 3 or 4 days in a row, and just 0 wins, straight losses, back to back to back to back. Most can't, and especially I think for newer traders where you are looking to the market for some confidence, right? You're looking to the market to kind of give you a little bit of that winning mindset, and if you set yourself up for that by way of win rate and risk to reward, it can be a little bit easier on you. So, again, no wrong way to do it. I'm definitely not here to tell anybody that there's one right way or something to do or not do at all. But that's I don't think I could handle it personally. I definitely don't think so. Not a 13% win rate. That's
No, it's
heavy.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So
crazy. Guys,
especially when you're learning, you got the base hits, and having shooting for a 60% win rate, I think is just it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's you can be profitable, and it's a good thing. So
I'm in agreement with that. Chat, well, we're hanging out, watching this market start to run to the upside. We are both trading Top 1 futures. We are both showing these new straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. If you guys want to check it out, link is in the chat. They are 55% off right now. Randy, what's your code? Let's tell the peeps.
So my code is TRB, and it's the exact same thing, but to sweeten the pot, and I hate to do this to you, Zach, I'm doing every purchase. Tell them. Every purchase with my code right now, you get entered into a draw for a giveaway for a 50K straight to funded account.
There you go.
The highlight of that is last time I did a giveaway where you had to do a purchase to enter, you had a 1 in 14 chance of winning. So that's going to be a little bit different this time, because obviously I got a bit more of a following, but it's still, you're not going to find those odds anywhere. Like a 1 in 14 chance of winning a funded account is pretty good. So I hate to do it to you. I hate to do it to you.
No, 100%.
I appreciate you always throwing it out there, right? So
I welcome it. I welcome it on here. Chat, just so you know, check out Randy on socials. Code TRB if you want to support Randy and get a chance to win one of how many if you purchase in the next.
So every purchase gets you an entry. It's 150K straight to funded account, but every purchase you make is going to get you 1 entry. Last time I did this, there was a 1 in 14 chance of winning. So, and I'll do a live draw with the wheel of names and all that on my socials.
100%. I love it, man. I love it.
I appreciate you. Just throwing that out there for me. So thank you, Zach.
No, 100%, man. Listen, it's I think this collaborative stuff is awesome, man. I think there's so many different perspectives and so many different ways to do this, like we're talking about on here. I love having traders on. I always say guys, but we got girls coming on now too, so apologies to the women. I love having men and women traders on the show to share their perspectives, right, and do this collaborative deal. And this space can get like weirdly competitive, and everybody has to shout that they're the best. And I don't like it. I had it demonstrated to me really early on, honestly, from Austin and other traders ahead of me that were like, yeah, dude, come on the show, we'll do the podcast, we'll do this and that. And I'm like, this is the way to do it, man. I think it's more value for anybody watching, right? You get 2 people on here taking 2 different directions of trades and talking about how they're managing them in different ways, and size of accounts that they're trading, and risk management and different journeys. So I'm all for it, man. So chat, check that one out. You guys want to check these accounts out again? We got 2 different instant funded account types now from Top 1 Futures. I got a bunch of videos on them. Make sure you read the rules, understand them. Remember, me and Randy are both biased here. That's the disclaimer. Being partnered, affiliated with Top 1 Futures. Important to note that, to be transparent. But if you guys want to check it out, I do think there's some sweet opportunity. I'd say probably not for the beginners. Intraday trailing drawdown, ESS, minimum profitable trading days. You got some serious rules in here. These are not easy, right? Important to note that. But you're an experienced trader. You want to leverage, a lot of accounts. You want to make a run at it. Check these out. I think there's a lot of opportunity for sure. But I got multiple videos out on them. from the site, the frequently asked questions page at the top, ton of info. And if you still have questions, hit their support up for sure. Always make sure you fully understand the rule set. I don't think anybody stands a
Yeah,
chance if they don't know the rules.
100%. And I think the trailing drawdown again, if you're struggling with taking profits, and you're going through 50K straight to funded accounts, it's a lot cheaper. Just get one account, try it, and maybe it's going to force you to be a better trader. Who knows? I'm not saying it's the answer, but I'm just sometimes you got to look at things the other way, and you're going to be like, oh, maybe I need to take profits, and then you're going to build that confidence, and everything's slowly going to, it's a snowball effect. So
Yep.
that's the one thing I will say about trailing drawdown. I'm not saying go buy 7 accounts, copy trade it, you're going to get rich, you're going to do this. But if you do struggle with taking profits and you are buying instant sim funded accounts, this is a lot cheaper, and it might force you to trade your trade management a little differently. And you know what? For the $150 investment, if it doesn't work out, at least you tried it, and that's not for you. So
Yeah.
that's what I can say about trailing drawdown, but it's still, again, it's not a pro. I'll tell you that. So.
No, for sure. Again, I think it's interesting. I don't have a hard opinion either way. I don't have a hard opinion either way. I'll say if you trade with prop firms with strict risk management rules and consistency rules, if you're going to turn a profit, you're going to learn to manage risk really tightly and work within them. Whether that's a benefit or plus for the trader, I think that's out for everybody. I've heard a lot of traders talk about consistency rules helping them, right? Just keeping them in line. Opposite is true. I've heard a lot of traders, that just say, no, I want the most flexibility. Objectively speaking, and what I'd like personally as a trader is the ultimate flexibility, right? No rules, just being able to do whatever we want. But I think it just comes down to deciding where you're at in your trading, your financial situation, where you want to put risk on, what firm you want to trade with, the platform, assessing all that stuff, and and deciding for yourself what's best for you.
Right, and at the end of the day, the prop firms are giving you capital to trade without risking, your own amount of that $2,000 of drawdown. You're not risking your own $2,000, and you're learning something. So you gotta, as much as rules suck and this, and this. At the end of the day, they're a business, and they're giving you a chance to learn to trade without having to risk, that amount of drawdown of your personal capital. So
for sure, coming from live accounts way too early on myself, that I often talk about, just personal accounts. You can lose a lot more money. You're trading with no rules, right? So you don't have to worry about any of the prop firm, downsides, but you're putting all that risk on the line, a lot. So I do think they're a good spot, definitely to start. I do think they're a good spot for, experienced traders as well to work yourself through the sim environment, get paid, and work towards a live account. I'll note that just, as we're kind of hanging out, talking, watch this market run. Interesting situation that we're starting to see more and more firms starting to tighten up. And there's this, probably gonna have to do a couple of videos on it and talk to my community, man. But there's a real distinction between being way too aggressive intentionally and just straight up sim farming and learning with props and, attempting to actually trade well on the way to a payout. And it's definitely not a black and white as far as what's what. And I'm not here to knock anybody, that is super aggressive, but it's definitely a problem for firms and for traders that are not doing that, because we continue to see a lot of tightening to prevent it from happening. So I would encourage traders, I'd say, when you see a lot of stuff from the outside, question what's behind all of that. Question what's behind the insane P&Ls. The copy trading of zillions of accounts. And then I'd also, as traders are talking about having issues or being denied or anything like that, I'd always ask the questions, right? Well, what was going on behind your trading, right? Were you following rules? Were you straight up sim farming, exploiting the sim environment, that type of stuff? I've seen a lot of it, and only more recently, but I'd say as far as prop firms, great opportunity, right? Great opportunity to learn with low risk on the line, great opportunity to leverage as you get more experienced. But remember, what the goal is, right? To trade in an actual way that makes sense. Like, don't get lost in the sauce of sim farming or copy trading and forget what you're actually here to do, which is trade well in a way that's going to consistently produce, profits in the market, whatever that means for you. There's rules we got to abide by, but try not to get lost in the sauce. I guess that's the message. But I'm gonna have to do a video on a longer video on that one, giving my thoughts.
Did you do one on trailing drawdown or just the ESS?
Just the ESS. I talked about the new accounts. I talked about consistency rules. Did one on ESS. I compared the two, but I don't have a specific one just on intraday trailing drawdown.
I got to do something like that. Maybe we should collab and do one, but I've been getting some questions about it, and I do my best to explain it, but some people just, it can be a confusing thing, right? So
yeah, for sure. Chat, what's up? Zach, you're awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you. Scott, need to be more trusting. Ryan, what's going on?
What about me, Ralph? Come on now.
Yeah, what about Randy, Ralph? Don't leave Randy out here.
Come on. No. Seb's my one homie, man. He's on my side.
That's awesome.
Well, he follows me on Instagram, so I know I know he followed me from last stream. I'm pretty sure. So
there you go. Ralph says Randy's awesome too. Chat, you guys are awesome.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
For sure. Well, guys,
I'm sensitive, Ralph. So
guys, we're coming up on an hour. I don't have too much left that I'm looking at. As Randy keeping it real. Yeah. I don't have too much left that I'm looking at this market. We're running to the upside. I don't have a way in long. I don't think I want to jump into this short. I might reassess, take a look at what we got coming into the afternoon here. Ralph says, just appreciating Zach sending referrals to Randy. Oh, yeah, no, for sure, man. We're collabing across the board here, man. But yeah, man, Randy, before we get ready to wrap it up, let the people know where to find you, what to check out. It's up on the screen.
I'm everywhere. The Randy Baines, Instagram, X, YouTube. I do daily recaps every day of my trading day. I break them down, wins, losses. And Instagram is just my fun creative side. And then X can be a little bit more serious, but yeah, that's where you find me. And any questions, always reach out and ask, man. I love, and any advice you want to give me, if you could see something I could use some improvement on, I would appreciate it. But no, I'm around. Hit me up. I respond to everybody. So, and as always, Zach, I appreciate you having me on. I'm really starting to love this. It's getting 2 for 2 is. Listen, it's a good sign, right?
We're on a roll. This is Randy's. For those of you that hopped on late, I see we got people hopped on and off. Hit like, hit subscribe. But we are 2 for 2 now on live sessions, both taking wins, both actually going opposite directions, fading each other, not intentionally, but just what our systems call for. But here we are, another green day. So no, this was awesome. Randy, appreciate you hopping on. We'll get you back on for sure. Chat, remember, quick disclaimer before we get ready for it. Check out Top One Futures. Check out Randy's code. Check him on socials. But 55% off across the board on these. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. But quick disclaimer, trading's risky. Most traders lose money. No financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like RDF, Top One Futures, Bookmap, and others. Randy, appreciate you having on. Chat, smash like, subscribe, follow Randy. We'll see you next time, Randy. We'll run it back soon, all right?
100%. Cheers. Thank you.